Hey guys, how you doing? So we've got the Jeep all put back together. This is a 2016 Jeep Wrangler, and the initial problem with this was that it overheated on the owner, and by the time he towed it over to my house, he had oil running out of the back of the engine whenever it would run. When I initially got it, I could not run it long enough, then a minute or two, because of how much oil was pouring out of the back. So I told him that I troubleshot it down to this oil filter housing. So that was the first job that I had to do on this Jeep. So I've got another video replacing that oil filter housing. It's actually really easy. Once I got that replaced and I was able to run the vehicle long enough to troubleshoot the cooling system, I did a pressure check. I actually did the pressure check before I even replaced the oil filter housing. It held pressure, so there was no coolant loss. Now that I have the oil filter housing replaced, I was able to run the engine long enough to bring it up to full operating temperature. The upper radiator hose never got hot, but the two heater hoses, or in this case heater pipes, did get hot. That tells me the thermostat's stuck, because the water pump will pump coolant through the heater core even though the thermostat's closed. If these pipes, or in a lot of cases these hoses, if you're on a vehicle that's got heater hoses, which this does have heater hoses kind of back in the back and down below here, but if these never get hot whenever the engine's coming up to temperature, more than likely your water pump is not working. It's bad. It can also be a clogged heater core not letting the water circulate. So if your engine is overheating and these are cold, you've got a bad water pump. If your engine is not overheating and these are these are cold, your heater core is probably plugged up. But in this case, the engine overheats, the heater pipes get hot, the upper radiator hose stays cold, therefore the thermostat is stuck closed. So we're going to replace the thermostat on this. So let's go ahead and get started. Looks like it's going to be really easy, and I'm pretty confident that it's going to fix the overheating problem with this vehicle. Alright guys, so we're sitting at about 212 degrees on the engine temp. Upper radiator hose still cold. Heater lines super hot. So we're going to go with a thermostat on this. 213 degrees. So let me get a thermostat ordered. Alright guys, so we got the thermostat. Comes with a new seal. This is an aluminum housing thermostat. The one that's on the vehicle is plastic, which the plastic seems to be holding up, but the thermostat itself is stuck shut. So the first thing we got to do, get the intake plenum removed. So I'm going to go ahead and just loosen the band clamps. Take these two 10 millimeters out. Pull this off. There is a connector that we will need to get to right here. And the thermostat is right here. Hopefully you can see that all right. The throttle body is kind of in the way, but it's easy enough to get to. It's held on with two 10 millimeter, but the first thing you're going to probably want to do is take this hose off. So let me get that clamp. Out of the way. Let's see if this is gonna. A lot of times these hoses, once they've been stuck on for very long, they kind of seal themselves to the water neck. I do have a pan down below. I'm hoping to catch as much of this as possible. and two 10 millimeters, and that will be off. Bottom bolt, finish the top one, top bolt. Now the thermostat comes all as an assembly. Pop the O-ring off, or the seal. Now this thermostat is actually stuck, closed, is the problem with it. So it was causing this vehicle to overheat. New thermostat. Probably one of the easiest thermostats you'll change. And the reason we're changing this is because it was overheating because it was stuck shut. Thermostat's changed. Now there is a bleeder screw right here, so I'm going to go ahead and fill this up, and I'm going to break this bleeder loose until I get full coolant running out, and then I'll tighten this back up. I'm just filling the radiator up. I'm going to go ahead and put the bleeder back in. Alright, so we're all tightened up. I'm going to finish topping off the radiator, put the air duct back on, and start it up and let it come up to operating temperature. Alright guys, so the upper radiator hose is nice and warm. It's completely coolant. So if you're trying to determine whether your water pump or your thermostat is stuck shut, if you feel your heater hoses and they're hot or even warm, and your upper radiator hose is still cold or cool to the touch, that's generally an indication that it's the thermostat. The heater core still gets flow even whenever the engine's cold and the thermostat is shut. I also have the scanner. It's been holding at about 203 and 204 for the past 5 or 10 minutes. It'll fluctuate a little bit. And of course, the gauge in here has been setting at normal. So thermostat, stuck thermostat is what fixed this overheating issue. Anyway, we're done. Thermostat, and that's what fixed the overheating problem. You guys take care.